we had the No Soup for You version of ice dance technical calls, a literal bloodbath, broken blades, and so much more. Join me as I dive into Finlandia Trophy. But first, don't forget to like, share, hype, and subscribe for more figure skating related content. Y'all, Finlandia Trophy, chaos. Let's just dive right into it. I'm going to start with the pairs. So for the pairs, following the short program, there was only a quarter of a point separating first and fourth, which felt wild. And in first place was HASE and VOLODIN from Germany. This was a lot harder for them than I thought it would be. I thought they were going to blow everybody out of the water, but they were still the no surprise winners here, if that makes sense. And what happened was their short program, things were going so well, y'all. I was like amped. I was seated, and then they had the invalid death spiral. Like after everything was going so well, the tragedy. I know it's dramatic, but like, man, I really root for this team. And then for their free skate, once again, going well. And then just an unexpected fall from Nikita. Like, it's one of those things where he landed and then fell. It's one of those maddening things. But regardless, the rest of their program went well. And so I think this program, I feel like it's cooked a little bit more. I really like it. It has the Ben Wall energy, and I am a sucker for the Ben Wall energy / pretentiousness. And in second place here was Elisa EFIMOVA and Misha MITROFANOV. And I apologize if I butchered those names. I'm trying to get in the habit of saying both names instead of just saying the first names. So they representing America. How awesome, y'all, was it for her to medal here while her mother was in the audience? Like, that is just so awesome. And for their short program, it is one of my favorites. And I remember I felt like everything was going well and I was getting ready to go to work. And then suddenly, like, the side-by-sides again. Like, I remember shouting side-by-side jump boot camp as my dog stared at me perplexed. Their free, though, is exactly what I've been waiting to see for them. I finally get what they were trying to convey because there was minimal mistakes here, so it felt so magical. Even though she did have the 2-foot landing at the end, I'm disappointed because this feels like it could be such an Olympic moment, so I'm sad that it likely won't. Someone must have, like, summons that Etsy witch that everybody's been talking about, who I think either put a spell on, was it Amber? Was it someone last week? I'm going to have to look into Etsy Witch again because their side-by-side jumps here were on point. So that was exciting. And Ellie Cam and Danny O'Shea, also from America. So they got the bronze here. So they don't get to go to the Grand Prix final. But to me, that feels like almost like a good thing. I feel like maybe they just need more time to train. I won't lie though, y'all. Like, I keep forgetting what their programs are until the music plays. They're just not as magical as the programs were last year. So for their short program, I was like super pumped because she didn't fall in the throw, even though she did like double foot it. And in the free, like, I was surprised because she was able to hold on to her throws. But then the side-by-side jumps were just chaotic. Regardless, like, this is a really good outing for them and not honestly what I expected after hearing kind of how their whole off season went. And so now we know who qualifies for the pairs for the Grand Prix final. And that is Miura and Kahara from Japan, Conti and Machi from Italy, HASE and VOLODIN from Germany, Medikina and Berluva from Georgia, Steleta Dudek and Deschamps from Canada, Pavlovia, Savchenko representing Hungary, with alternates. First alternate, Swain Han. Second, Cam and O'Shea. And third, Alisa and Misha. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the men. So where do we begin? Like, we had broken blade problems, like blood, just so much, y'all. And in first place here was Yuma KAGIYAMA from Japan. So he rose from third to first place here. Now, he didn't have the best skates, technically wise. Of course, artistic, blowing everybody out of the water. So for his short program, like, he found his quad sow and then stepped out of his triple axel, which felt very uncharacteristic. Then his free skate was like a wild ride because I was at that moment, you know, when you're watching a skater and you feel relaxed and thought it was going so well, but then he missed his quad toe. and then nearly skated into the camera for like a different jump. He told Judith from the Golden Skate that he tried to make the quad toe, but then lost his timing. To me, his program was still magical. It hit. And I'm also glad that non-Olympic champion Sarah Hughes likely got to see this in person because she went to Finlandia, actually on behalf of the run-through. So this makes me happy because I feel like this is one of those programs she's probably dying to see. And in second place, Adam SIAO HIM FA from France. You know, I really was worried about him going to the free skate, going in first, because he really does better when he can like channel Drake and start from the bottom and work his way to the top. He apparently has had his boots break or like his blades break on him. Just chaos as usual. I feel like for him, I feel like he always has, and nothing purposeful, I'm not saying that. It's like it's always unfortunate circumstances close to his competitions. I do feel like we finally got to see his short program the justice here. And even though I don't like the costume, like when the program is skated well, I don't cringe as much. His free skate though, like, okay, it was a mess to be honest. Like all his jumps looked like they were just like living on a prayer. And there was a funny point though where I was like, well, you know, this can probably still medal, and I was correct. I enjoy Adam though, and I really hope he can medal at the Olympics. Like I have such a soft spot for him. And Steven GOGOLEV from Canada. So he got the bronze medal here, and it was such a major accomplishment for him, which is actually his first Grand Prix medal as a senior. So that is huge. He didn't look that happy, but it was huge. He's probably like thinking about his mistakes. He put down an amazing short program, and his free skate wasn't bad. He had a pop jump. It was one of those other instances where I'm relaxed and I'm thinking this person's going to be awesome, and then bam, pop their axle. Roman Sadowski, also from Canada. So from just like observation, it looks like he had clean programs, though many of his jumps were called. I still feel like, though, this is like the Romsky that we've been waiting to see. He looks so much more confident, even when things aren't perfect. So this is exciting for him. And then Jason Brown came in 5th. It's wild that he competed again this weekend after being in snowy Lake Placid. Unfortunately, he's still having problems with the triple axel in both programs. His short program, though, like regardless, I feel like the step sequence just keeps getting better and better. Like, I loved it last week, and then I loved it this week. Like, it is epic. And for his free program, he opened up by falling on the triple axel. And then the second one, again, I need someone to take some crystals, burn candles, just so we can get through his triple axels for like nationals and the Olympics. Someone make it happen. Regardless, he still put on a beautiful skate, and he told Judah from Golden Skate that he's proud of the fight that he made. He didn't let the 2 mistakes get to him. And I agree, like he really did not let the mistakes get to him. He's not one of those skaters that will cheapen his performance when he doesn't do as well. And I love that about him. And Sota YAMAMOTO from Japan came in 6th. I really want to give a shout out to his free skate because I feel like it was masterfully done. But to be honest, like I forgot he made a mistake just because it felt so lovely to watch. I do wish he did a different version of Hallelujah this song though. Like, whew, not my favorite. And then Matteo, oh my gosh, he came in 7th. This is heartbreaking to watch. He just made uncharacteristic mistakes, ones that seemed to surprise him as well. I did enjoy that he told Judith that he enjoyed skating his free program more than he did his short program, and that he was happy because he landed his second quad toe, because it's been a challenge for him. Oh, that's so precious. So he also told her like he's been traveling for the past few weeks, and he's excited to go home and see his dog and his friends. He wants to be with his dog a little bit more and rest at his. That is just awesome. That's precious. Can he go to the Olympics, y'all? Can we like have him over Daniel Grossel? Mihhail SELEVKO from Estonia came in 8th here. I adore watching his short program. Like, I love this Children of the Void skate. And it was his birthday, like the day before his short program. So that's awesome. It wasn't his day, though, for the free skate. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, it wasn't his day. But that's okay because he put on a good skate for his short program. Andreas NORDEBACK, representing Sweden, came in 9th here. Y'all, despite bleeding all over the ice, he did really well. I feel like he deserves like an honorary medal, even though it's probably not the best idea to skate. I don't know the circumstances for how his federation would feel if he were to not finish the competition. But he did it and like landed his jumps fine. Like it was a wild ride. And people on Reddit and Twitter showed pictures of like after each skater within the men's, like they would go out and scrape more of that blood off. I mean, that was literally a bloodbath. And it wasn't even ice dance. Deniss VASILJEVS came in 10th here, and to me, he came in first because he's been through a lot. It sounds like since this whole season started, probably even before that, but like it's been kind of chaotic for him. It was so unfortunate because like his short program was going so well, and then he just tripped. I about died. However, it was looking so much stronger here than Cup of China. He's another one where I was real relaxed, and in the free skate, suddenly there was a fall. In fact, he also fell in the triple Lutz, and it was bizarre because it looked like he landed it. I'm blaming that soft ice that Amber Glenn was talking about. And he mentioned to the Golden Skate that he's actually training in Champre again, and that he's hoping that his coach will be at the next competition. So that makes me happy that he has a coach. He's probably getting more support. Amazing skater regardless. I feel like he's a fighter, so I feel like he should also get like an honorary goal. Like we need to get one for Andreas for managing to make it through without his arm falling off. And then one for Deniss just for being the amazing skater that he is, despite all the circumstances that have gone on. And no, I don't know all the circumstances, just from what I've been piecing together. And then Jimmy Ma came in 11th here. I feel like, honestly, he's been more subdued this season. Like, his YMCA program, it has the potential to be incredibly fun. And don't get me wrong, he still skated it fairly fun. But I feel like in the past, he's been much more of a performer. I don't know if it is the fact that maybe at some point he's kind of realized that the Olympic dreams are less likely for him, or if it is fatigue from travel, because I know he's actually traveling from Japan, it sounds like. Someone pointed out on Reddit, they said it was sad that he'll never be considered for Stars on Ice, and I 100% agree. I think Stars on Ice needs to be revamped, but that's a whole other video at some point. They need to be getting skaters that are just natural performers. And last but not least, Valtter VIRTANEN from Finland, aka Dr. Skater, who also needs like an honorary like gold medal. Like we need to have separate golds. And he is 38 here, y'all. And Mark told the most precious, wholesome story about him and his family and his wife and everybody taking in Kyrylo Marsak from Ukraine in after the invasion of Ukraine and housed him and everything. It's just the sweetest story ever. And as for who's made it to the Grand Prix final for the men, Ilya, Malin, Yuma KAGIYAMA, Shun Sato, Adam saw him fall, Mihhail SELEVKO, and Daniel Grassel. And the substitutes, the first one is Kazuki Tamano, Lucas Brishki, and Nika Egaz. And now on to the women, which felt a little less chaotic in comparison to so many other things. Mone CHIBA was rightfully a winner here. I adore Amber, but I feel like Mone had just the skate of the night. Her short program, I feel like we've seen it better. She had just like the turnout of her combo. Her free skate, though, felt magical. Yeah, the jumps weren't perfect either. She had some calls on them, but like I can't get over the flow, her knee bend and smoothness. Like I guess I'm just easily swayed by her skating, to be honest. And Amber Glenn was a silver medalist here. Y'all, our girl apparently showed up to this competition after a root canal as a result from cyanitis and like was on antibiotics. One thing I was pleased to see was when she was speaking with Judith from the Golden Skate is that she was reflecting positively on her scores. And it was also, of course, because we know Amber is so positive to other skaters, she was also propping Mone up. And what was really special is she was talking about how she's excited to attend the Grand Prix final with Alisa. As y'all know, she did amazing in the short program, and I kept thinking she looked so at ease and so calm here. And what's interesting is she told Judith, like right afterwards, that she felt sluggish and that she had been sleeping a lot since arriving in Finland, and that she thinks perhaps that helped her to an extent, though that she had to kind of like pump herself up for her program. As for her free program, what cost her was like the doubling of the Lutz and missing a combo. I was surprised that she didn't try to squeak one out anywhere else, but maybe she did a cost benefit of having something unprepared in a program. Her triple axel, though, was glorious as usual. This program, for some reason this year, I like it so much better, and it feels like it can really be emotional if she skates it really well, and this could be an Olympic moment. And so I'm excited for her, actually, because I feel like she may have a great rest of the season because she no longer has the pressure of I'm undefeated for all the Grand Prix. And in third place, oh my gosh, Rino MATSUIKE. Y'all, she medaled here. I'm like dying with excitement. Her short program is to die for. I mean, both programs are to die for, but like her short program, I am jealous of anyone who has gotten to see this like live, either as it is now as her short program or her free skate. Like her outside edges, y'all, I know I've talked about this 1,000 times, but they're to die for. And then for her free skate, I feel like we could easily call the cops here. And then Matteo will appear. I sometimes feel like we're being trolled by her PCS. I need someone to explain it to me like I'm 5. Because like her PCS for her free skate was 63.52. You know who I adore, love her, 64.37. Make it make sense. What? I love Amber. Adore Amber. Hers was 67.60. 63.52 for Reno. This makes no sense. Someone call Matteo and make him straighten this out. So Bradie TENNELL from USA came in 4th here. So for her short, she struggled a bit with a combo, but she did great enough to where, like in her free program, she made Benoit smile. Though her jumps were like a Q-palooza, and so that's something she'll really need to work on, because that is something she can get hammered on at nationals, and that can cost her being an Olympic contender. Madeline SCHIZAS came in 5th here. Y'all, her Lion King, it came back to life. She mentioned that her federation encouraged her to go back to this program. It sounds like they're just going to, I guess, risk it and see what happens. I am so glad she's doing this again, because you can tell like she really comes to life for this program. Like she really does this program justice. This is so much a better vehicle for her than the Black Swan. And her free skate was like probably the best I've seen her skate a free program in a while. I still don't quite think it suits her well. And actually, honestly, I didn't quite catch that she's act, that double axel, because I was so distracted, like, oh, she's doing really well. In 6th place was Iida KARHUNEN from Finland. She feels like a soon-to-be breakout star. Like she won our hearts immediately by having the blinking with the music. And then her free skate, like I am a sucker for a swan leg warhorse. Like I just can't help it. And I felt like she looked balletic during it. Yeah, her program wasn't perfect, but it makes me really happy that she told Judith afterwards from Golden Skate that she had a lot of fun here. So that warms my soul. And then in 7th place was Rion SUMIYOSHI from Japan. This was heartbreaking. She had this stunning short program up until that painful looking fall. It looked painful. Then her free program was just filled with mistakes and falls. Like this broke my heart because it took her completely out of the Grand Prix final for just such an uncharacteristic times like 40 weekend in skating for her. And Loena HENDRICKX ended up withdrawing. She did her short program and it was filled with mistakes. And she told Judith from Golden Skate afterwards that she was physically exhausted there. And then after her short program, I believe it was the day of either the free skate or the night before, she took to Instagram and said, health is important and I wasn't feeling well. I hadn't been eating properly for a few days and my energy was too low. And even though I'm a fighter and wanted to give it my all, I was feeling too weak. That's why we decided to fly back home so I can get the rest I need. I'm sorry to let you down, but I promise to put myself and my health first and to come back much stronger. Thank you for the unconditional support. And so I'm really glad she prioritized her health, because if she was already feeling exhausted and weak maybe for the short program, we wouldn't want her to go through a whole free program like that, especially if she had not been able to eat well. And that brings us to who's going to the final for the women. So Mone CHIBA, Kaori Sakamoto, Amber Klin, Alisa Liu, Ami Nakai, and Rinka Watanabe. And the substitutes, Isabella Vito, Anastasia Gubanova, and Bradie TENNELL. All right, y'all, buckle up, because here's where the wild ride starts. All right, ice dance. Listen, technical panel. This was already a bloodbath and was already drama-filled, yet y'all decided let's make this more complex and chaotic. Like, everyone's levels were just, like, getting destroyed. Sean Redstadt, man, yeah, I don't even know what was going on with you, bud. So, in first place, Fournier Boudry and Cizeron representing France. Y'all, this is where the Sean man, like, went unhinged. So, here's where I just cannot make things make sense. So, the panel thought that their choreographic sequence was just normal choreography that was at the beginning of the program. So the part where they like start in the middle of the ice and they move backwards and then forwards. And so it got called that. And then it said it didn't meet the requirements. So then it tanked their GOE for that sequence, even though they submit their stuff. Like, I can't understand this. To me, it just doesn't make sense. And this feels like one of those moments where, like, there should be a method of scores getting changed after the fact, because, like, this just feels unfair. I'm not even, like, the biggest fans ever of this team at all, but still, like, things should be fair. Like, that's just bizarre to me. And so they were rightfully angry after their short program. And Cizeron said to Judah from Golden Skate that we had a really good performance on the ice today. We are happy with our overall performance, just not so happy about the way the technical panel judged our performance. But it is what it is for today. I don't want to put on a number, what I expected, but you'd have to do the math, but definitely higher than that. And their pattern step got a level 1. Just things were just, I can't even. Like, I don't understand what this man, Sean, is doing in life. I agree with Piper, who I'll talk here in a little bit in more detail, when she talked about how this makes it difficult for people to understand and get into ice dance. Like, it does. It makes it really difficult if, like, us at home who are really trying to become more versed in ice dance watch these things, and it's just like, I don't know what happened or how. And then their free dance, it looks like by the time they got their scores there, they were already just kind of like, and like they could see that their scores were not going to be the greatest. While they got a lot of level 1s on some things, the Twizzles, looks like she got a level 2 and he got a level 4. There was a break in the Twizzles, so I could see why that happened. They just got hammered here. What is going on in society here? I did feel like this was a lot better than when I saw it at the French Grand Prix. I felt like it's utterly mesmerizing. Oh, and they also got a deduction for the extended lift, which I didn't notice that in the moment. I do think, even though they didn't score that great here, like, just watching their material, I do feel like, and I adore Chalk and Bates, I feel like Chalk and Bates need to step it up. I love them, but it is going to be an uphill battle. Like, these two have phenomenal skating. And then Piper and Paul, I actually thought for their rhythm dance that they were going to get into the lead. What's wild to me is she ended up getting a level B for her Twizzles. Like, have we ever experienced that in life? What was so wrong with her Twizzles that we're going to level B? Like, what was going on with these humans? Like, yeah, her Twizzles weren't perfect, but really a level B. Piper also called out the technical panel while speaking to Judith from Golden Skate, and I appreciated this in life. So she said, "I put in a lot of work since Skate Canada. We felt really good, and skating felt also really good today. It is really unfortunate the top athletes in the world are getting level 1s on their pattern step. We are all working really hard, but we are made to feel a bit like junior skaters. I think there is room for the technical panel to grow." That right there is, I'm like, girl, you go. And she basically said that she's proud of how everyone skated. And then she says the system right now is at a crossroad. I think the viewership is also understanding that we're kind of in that situation. Like, they don't know what's happening when they see an explanation point. What the heck does that even mean, you know? So there's just moments in our sport that we've lost the connection to who's watching and also the connection between who's controlling our fate. And I really appreciated that. And also, I forgot to mention, I believe it was Laurence and Cizeron, one of them has said in, forget which of the many interviews I listened to, that they also were feeling like kind of held back by all these rules. Like, I think a lot of fans and ice dancers are just starting to feel like all these like silly things are really just holding back the creativity. And for their free dance, wow, once again, her Twizzles were just not, they did not make that Sean man happy. I liked the program a whole lot more for their free dance this time around. I feel like maybe the lip sync cooked a little bit more. I do wish they would have brought back Wuthering Heights. Like, that to me was the ultimate program. I'm a little worried for them just because of like the politics of everything and how like they're gonna stack up at the Grand Prix final. I feel like the final will be very telling for so many things. And in third place here was Zingas and Kolesnik from the USA. I am so happy for them. Although I do find it wild that after the rhythm dance, like they had the highest technical score. Like some of these things confuse me and I need someone to explain it to me like I'm 5. However, I adore these people, like adore them. Like I have been a huge fan of them for quite a bit. So I cannot be happier. Like them getting the bronze here makes their Olympic dreams like more likely to happen. I also loved how amped the family was over this. I feel like they were the happiest bronze medalists ever. And they're going to make it to the final. That makes me happy. That warms my soul. And Olivia Smart and Tim Deek from Spain came in 4th place here. She got a new dress in the rhythm dance and they tweaked a little thing. So I feel like I really enjoy their rhythm dance more here. I absolutely am obsessed with our Dune program. Like, it's unfortunate that Tim had like a little bit of break in his rotation. Oh, and they're going to go on to Talent Trophy next week. And of course, the Shibatanis came in 5th tier. I feel like their programs have improved a lot. I do think, though, like their scores are still pretty telling that it's going to be maybe an uphill battle for them to make it to the Olympics. However, we will have to see them at nationals against Christina and Anthony, so that shall be interesting. And speaking of like the freaking chaos to Tashlers, like what more could happen in ice dance at this event? Like they had the wrong rhythm dance song playing. I don't know if they were afraid of deduction. I've read mixed things if they would get a deduction versus if they wouldn't for stopping. Or like I do imagine like it's harder for a pair to signal to one another, let's stop. And it was really devastating to see Natalie, like as she got off the ice, you could tell she was devastated. I just really felt for her. Overall, this ice dance event was just really chaotic. Like it's not the bloodbath that I was hoping for. It just felt like it just made things harder for those of us to understand ice dance more. And I know there was a lot of discussions about how, well, it ended up like people were in the spots that he should have been, but still, like, what are they supposed to do with that information and those scores? And plus, ice dance is one of those bizarre things where it builds on momentum. I'll never understand that. I think it's another thing that just makes it train wreckish is like usually, except for the Rons and Scissoron, actually, usually like people kind of have to wait their turn for things. Like it's just also really hard to get behind something and get excited and watch it when there's just a lot of concerns about things not being fair. And I know that's been the theme for quite a bit, but like this just felt like unnecessary and uncalled for. Just everyone getting level 1s, like level 1 palooza. So I'm intrigued to see how the final goes. And who's going to the final is Chalk and Bates, the Rons and Scissoron, Fear and Gibson, Piper and Paul, the Lithuanians, Zingas and Kolesnik, and in substitute land, Lala, Gunard and Fabry, and La Preva and Brashad. All right, y'all. Sorry if I butcher names. Like, I'm trying a lot harder to use people's last names here. I'm going to keep working on that, not butchering things. Let's see how Mark says it because Mark says things correct. And so next week, I'll have a video out about kind of like a preview for the Grand Prix final. So don't forget to like, share, hype, and subscribe for more figure skating related content.